On your left, it's the 4 and 5. The 3, you're born Michigan. Henry was born in that white farmhouse in and was there with his parents and
You're looking at the Central Market. This is one of the market days, so they've got lots of vendors in there today. Selling their wares, so might have some interesting goodies over there. Now we're coming up to the Detroit League on the Milwaukee Roundhouse. And that's in the Central Player, Railroad Junction.
Now, if you have one of those colorful maps from our ticket office, we'll find Firestone Station at the bottom left. And we'll be moving in a counterclockwise direction as we head around the village this afternoon. As you know, Greenfield Village is divided into 7 districts. Our first is Henry's Model T. You can get a ride on a genuine Ford Model T car at the loading dock on the corner of Bagley and State Street, right here in Henry's Model T district. That brings us to the birthplace of Henry Ford. On your left, it's the Ford Farm, built here in Dearborn, Michigan in 1861. Henry was born in that white farmhouse in July of 1863 and lived there with his parents and 5 brothers and sisters. All the way to your left there, that red building is the William Ford Barn. It's where we take care of all the horses we use every day here at Greenfield Village. Up next, it's our Main Street district. Here you'll find the Wright Brothers home and the Wright Cycle Shop, the birthplace of aviation. Across the street, find out about the 57 varieties at the Heinz home, where they first bottled horseradish. And take a spin on our 1913 Herschel Spillman Carousel. Edison's Menlo Park complex, where Edison and his staff of scientists and engineers developed the very first practical incandescent light bulb. Menlo Park complex is America's first research and development lab, responsible for such innovations as the microphone, the phonograph, and over 800 other patents. Also on the left, the mustard yellow building is the Sarah Jordan boarding house, where Edison's staff used to live. It's the first residential structure in the U.S. to be wired up for electric light. And we're now approaching the gateway to our Porches and Parlors district. That's the Acme Covered Bridge from 1832 in western Pennsylvania. Just beyond the bridge is our next stop of the day, and that's Susquehanna Station. From here you have full access to the entire Porches and Parlors district, including the McGuffey School, the Hermitage Slave Quarters, the Noah Webster House, and the Robert Frost Home, just to name a few. So if you're leaving us here, please stay seated until the train comes to a complete stop. The engineer will give a blast with the whistle, meaning the air brake is set. Then I'll give you the go-ahead to exit on the left side only. Don't forget that wristband or ticket gets you on and off the train all day long here at the village. Wait for that whistle now. There's the whistle of the Greenfield Village Railroad. Again, please stay seated while the train's in motion. Keep those arms and legs, and especially your heads, inside the rail car at all times. Please refrain from smoking, eating, or drinking anything but water aboard the Greenfield Village Railroad. Moving on now through our Porches and Parlors district, we're passing the historic Susquehanna Plantation, built in 1825 in St. Mary's County, Maryland. Owned by Henry and Elizabeth Carroll, a prosperous family who held lavish parties in that plantation house. Compare that to the small red house next door, the Thomas Plimpton home. Thomas was an indentured servant, and he lived in that small one-room house with his wife and 7 children. Now, at the end of the road, on the other side of our Ferris windmill, is the Daggett Farm, a living history farm from 1754 in Andover, Connecticut. Stop in and see how Samuel Daggett and the family lived and worked on the farm prior to the American Revolution. And we're now passing our horse paddock down here at Hawthorne Glade. When our horses need a day off, this is where we bring them. The locomotive at the head of our train today is the Thomas A. Edison. It's a coal-fired steam engine that was basically cobbled together back in 1932 at the Ford Rouge plant from an old 1868 Manchester once owned by Thomas Edison. The thing is, Henry didn't want a Manchester engine, he wanted a Mason. So he redesigned it, to sort of, kind of look like a Mason. And the result is the Franken engine we have today, the Thomas A. Edison, weighing in at 25 tons. So now, folks, let's take a few moments to sit back and relax and enjoy the sights and sounds of railroading as it was in the late 1800s and early 1900s.
That's the lion's train.
The Oxbow is an 11-acre wetland restoration project, one of the largest in southeastern Michigan. And there's part of our flock of wild turkeys hanging out with us this afternoon. Many of the birds and wild animals get a return to the Oxbow after we've cleared everything up. Off to your right on the river, you'll see many of our turtles and maybe a few of the other birds that we have, like egrets and Canada geese and green and blue heron. They all hang out on the river on your right.
Close your eyes, buddy. Close your eyes.
And we're now entering Walnut Grove on the backside of our Porches and Parlors district, where we hold many of our special events throughout the year. And next weekend, it's a great special event. It's Motor Muster at Greenfield Village. There'll be hundreds and hundreds of cars from the 1930s through the 1970s. And we'll be open late Saturday night till 9 o'clock. It all happens next weekend. Motor Muster, right here at Greenfield Village. Also coming up on your left, that Henry Ford Academy is a charter school that are chosen by the This houses the 10th, 11th, and 12th grades. 9th graders attend class at the Henry Ford Museum. Now just ahead, you'll see 3 attached rail cars that serve as classrooms for the seniors. Imagine that, going to class in a rail car. boys been swimming in these waters since 1920. Also on your left, at the top of the hill, a popular wedding spot. That's the Martha Mary Chapel, named after Henry Ford's mother and mother-in-law, Martha and Mary. Also on your left, two of our restaurants. The Greenfield is the Taste of History, a special menu based on recipes from some of our historic sites, like the Danny Farm, style dining. Served under candlelight by waiters and waitresses. Coming up to our next stop, that's the District Station, so please stay seated till the train comes to a complete stop. The engineer will give a blast with the whistle, meaning the air brake is set, and then I'll give you the go-ahead to exit on the left side only. Wait for that whistle, everybody.
We're gonna get off here, guys. Is that okay?
And there's the whistle. And as we continue on now through Railroad Junction, we're now passing the historic Smith Creek Depot. Originally built in 1858 in Smith Creek, Michigan. That's about 8.5 miles southwest of Port Huron. Where as a boy, Thomas Edison worked for the Grand Trunk Railroad, selling treats and newspapers along the way from Port Huron to Detroit and back again. And off to your left is one of our newer additions here at Greenfield Village. That's our vegetable building from the Detroit Central Market. Built here in Detroit in 1861. And today is Market Day. Be sure to stop by, check out all the exhibits they have planned for you, and check out our vendors and all their wares. Now that brings us to the heart of our Railroad Junction district. Just up ahead is our Detroit, Toledo, and Milwaukee Roundhouse, where we repair and maintain our 3 coal-fired steam locomotives. Originally built in 1884 in Marshall, Michigan, it was recreated here at Greenfield Village in the year 2000, using elements from the original building. Be sure to stop by and get a bird's eye view of all the work going on the shop floor at our DT&M Roundhouse. Over on the other side of the roundhouse is our Liberty Craft Works district, where artisans and craftsmen create beautiful objects in glass and pottery, carding and weaving. There's a print shop, a sawmill, and so much more. Don't miss the Davidson Gersten Glass Gallery with a spectacular selection of industrial glass. Entering our working farms district, and just beyond that red cider mill is the Firestone Farm, the birthplace of Harvey Firestone, Henry Ford's great friend, and the founder of the Firestone Cider and Rubber Company. Firestone Farm is a living history farm, a farmhouse built in 1860. Merino sheep. Some of the finest wool in the world comes from merino sheep. They were a cash crop of the original Firestone farm. And that brings us to our next stop of the day, and that's Firestone Station at the front gate. Here you have full access to working farms. If you're leaving us here, please stay seated till the train comes to a complete stop. The engineer will give a blast to the whistle, and that means the air brake is set. Then I'll give you the go-ahead to exit on the right side only. So wait for that whistle, everybody.